I got this morning is pretty good. So as I said to you, these people involved in all of the anti-Trump hoaxes and conspiracies to take him down, whether it was the spying onto the Trump team, Spygate, Muellergate, they all know each other and they all have something to lose. When you keep that in mind, all of this is going to make sense. So this morning I got an email that was fascinating from a friend. And I want to start by saying, do you guys remember, and ladies out there in the audience, during the impeachment hearings in the House, on the House side, we now have the trial on the Senate side, as you know, but the impeachment hearings on the House side, run by the Democrats, because the Democrats are in charge of the House, they have the majority, that one of the witnesses they called, who was like, man, there was this big pressure campaign by Trump and the Ukrainians to produce this information and investigations on Biden, and the Trump team wouldn't give up military aid if they didn't produce that information. That's what the alleged quid pro quo, something for something was. Well, one of their witnesses in this fake pressure campaign, because the Ukrainians have already said there was no pressure campaign. It didn't exist. It's a hoax. Just like collusion. The Russian, it's a hoax, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hoax. But one of the Democrats' main witnesses, this guy who came up there and he's like, I got the goods, man, on this pressure campaign, was this guy David Holmes. Check out this Washington Post piece here we can see. Remember Holmes? Holmes.
Homie.
Yeah. So here's an article by Philip Bump, November 2019. David Holmes made clear how pressure was applied to Ukraine. Time out, keep that up a second. The Ukrainians have said the opposite, but David Holmes knows better, Joe. So Holmes made clear how pressure was applied to Ukraine and how that pressure continues. Amazingly, the Ukrainians don't feel the pressure, but Holmes knows. Holmes. Nice job, Holmes. Well, again, what's the operating thesis of the Dan Bongino show for the last few months? All of these people and all of these scandals know each other. And they all have something to lose when Trump exposes them. So, Joe, what is the, let's say, battle plan for them? Is to create crisis upon crisis, scandal upon scandal, hoax upon hoax, until what happens, Joe? Until Donald J. Trump is removed from office, impeached, or the political damage is so much that he's not reelected. Does everybody understand it? You please listen to me. Horse blinders on, straight ahead. This will never stop because there's too much to lose. Now you say, Holmes, hey, Holmes, what is Holmes? Who does Holmes know and who is he connected to? You just said the impeachment hoax that Holmes was involved in, saying the pressure campaign's real against Ukrainians, despite the Ukrainians saying otherwise, and the aid being delivered that he said was conditional. It was already delivered. Who was Holmes related to on the Spygate hoax and the collusion hoax? They all know each other. This is crazy, Joe. Get ready. Again, we're into crazy time now. The last few weeks have been constant crazy time every day. I got this email this morning due to a FOIA request by the Citizens United, a great group run by Dave Bossie. And here's a photo of some emails they got from this woman at the State Department. This name is going to sound very familiar. And a Stephanie, what's her last name? Put up this email. I'm forgetting the last name. Oh, Stephanie Holmes. Crazy. I don't know how this happens.
That is crazy.
Stephanie Holmes. Who is that? Oh. Well, that just happens to be the wife of our buddy David Holmes. You know, Holmes. David Holmes. Who? Yeah. How about that? Who alleges a pressure campaign against the Ukrainians that the Ukrainians themselves said didn't exist. Now, keep this email up for a moment. Here's an email the Citizens United got. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is stunning. I want Holmes back, and I want to talk to Holmes stat. You want witnesses? Let's get Holmes. Come on, Holmes. Let's see you, buddy. So this is an email from Kathleen Kavalek to Stephanie Holmes talking about the Russian collusion thing. The Russians are trying to influence the election, saying, hey, this is really worth reading. Stephanie Holmes is David Holmes' wife. It's interesting because Kathleen Kavalek is the State Department official who did what? You remember the names, folks, know exactly what she did. Yes, she interviewed Christopher Steele. Yes, the supposed, air quotes, author of the Steele dossier, which was used to spy on Trump.
Right.
So, come on, this can't possibly be that a State Department official working for John Kerry's State Department, who's being pressured by a Ukrainian gas company that hires Joe Biden's kid and a former associate of John Kerry's State Department, this official, Cavalex, interviewing Steele, Christopher Steele, who supposedly authored the dossier. She's taking notes, passing them to the FBI, to Stephen Laycock at the FBI, while simultaneously emailing a National Security Council member, Stephanie Holmes, who is the wife of David Holmes, who during the Ukraine hoax impeachment scandal is the one alleging a pressure campaign against the Ukrainians that the Ukrainians said doesn't exist.
It's crazy.
This is just nuts.
Yeah.
Whew.